On this channel, we provide useful programming information with practical code examples. This video explains tags related to forms. This explains various form fields such as text inputs and drop-down menus. You can check various tags such as form and input tags, as well as opt group and progress tags while previewing them. Enabling subtitles will make the code descriptions easier to understand. Please make use of it. First, let's take a look at an example of the form tag. The form tag is used to define the entire form. The action attribute specifies the destination, and the method attribute specifies the method get or post. You can also specify the target attribute, similar to the a tag. Next, let's look at the input tag. Let's explain by the type attribute. First is the text input field. Input type equals text creates a single-line text input field. Users can enter any text. The placeholder attribute specifies descriptive text that appears when the input field is empty. This helps users easily understand the expected input. This text automatically disappears when input begins. Placeholder is suitable for providing supplementary information and is not suitable for important instructions such as required input. In such cases, you should use a label. Next, let's look at the password input field. Input type equals password creates a field for password input. The entered characters are hidden and masked to ensure security. Next, let's look at the email input field. Input type equals email creates a field for entering an email address and includes validation to ensure the correct email format. Next, let's look at checkboxes. Input type equals checkbox creates a checkbox. When multiple options are available, users can select multiple items. Next, let's look at radio buttons. Input type equals radio creates a radio button that allows users to select only one option from a set. Next, let's look at the submit button. Input type equals submit creates a button for submitting the data in the form. The value of the value attribute is included in the form data when submitted. Next, let's look at the reset button. Input type equals reset creates a button that resets all input values in the form. Next, let's look at hidden fields. Input type equals hidden creates a hidden field that is not displayed on the screen and is used to send data to the backend when the form is submitted. Next, let's look at the color picker. Input type equals Color displays a color picker and creates an input field for users to select a color. Next, let's look at the date input field. Input type equals date creates a date input field that displays a calendar for selecting a date. Next, let's look at the time input field. Input type equals time creates a field for entering time, and a time picker is displayed. Next, let's look at the file selection field. Input type equals file creates an input field for users to select and upload files. The ENTS type attribute of the form tag must be set to multi-part form data. Next, let's look at the number input field. Input type equals number creates a number input field that allows setting the minimum value, maximum value, and step, increment, decrement amount. Next, let's look at the range input field. Input type equals range creates an input field where users can select a value within a range using a slider. Next, let's look at the text area tag. The text area tag creates a multi-line text input field. It is suitable for entering long text or comments. Next, let's look at the select tag. The select tag creates a drop-down menu, and options are defined with the option tag. Users can select one or multiple items. To enable multiple selections, add the multiple attribute. Specifying this attribute displays the options as a list box. Let's also take a look at the opt group tag. The opt group tag is used to group related items together. The label attribute allows you to set a group name, providing clear options to users even if the list is long. Next, let's look at the label tag. The label tag defines labels for input fields, checkboxes, and radio buttons, improving usability and accessibility. For example, clicking a label can focus an input field or toggle a checkbox on or off. Next, let's look at the field set tag. The field set tag groups related form controls, and the legend tag provides a title for the group. Next, let's look at the button tag. The button tag defines a clickable button that triggers form submission or other actions. When type equals button is specified, it functions as a regular button. Clicking it does not submit the form or trigger any other default actions. It is used when you want to set custom actions with JavaScript. When type equals submit is specified, it functions as a submit button for the form. When this button is clicked, the form containing it will be submitted. When type equals reset is specified, it functions as a reset button for the form. Clicking it will reset all the input fields in the form and return them to their initial state. If the type attribute is not specified, some browsers may treat it as type equals submit, so it is recommended to explicitly specify the type to ensure the intended behavior. The button tag can include other HTML content between the opening and closing tags, making it possible to create buttons with icons or complex text. For a submit button using the input tag, the value of the value attribute is included in the form data, but with a button tag, it is not sent by default. By specifying name and value attributes for a button tag, its value can be sent as form data. Next, let's look at the data list tag. The data list tag provides a list of selectable options for the input element. Users can either select from the list or enter their own value. Next, let's look at the output tag. The output tag displays the result of calculations or user interactions. It is used to dynamically display calculation results within forms or scripts. For the for attribute, specify the IDs of the form elements you want to associate, separated by spaces. Next, let's look at the progress tag. The progress tag shows users the progress of a task. For example, it can visually indicate the progress of a file download or installation. Next, let's look at the meter tag. The meter tag represents a numeric measurement within a known range. It is used to display measurements like disk usage or a fuel gauge within a specific range. The source code for this video can be downloaded from the official website. If you like, please visit the URL in the description to aid your learning. Next time, we will explain form validation. See you in the next video. Please subscribe and give us a thumbs up.